Welcome to Thinking Outside the Soil with your host, Shani Alfalfaseed, where we get to talk story and touch on topics about hydroponics and the farmers who grow the crops and creatures we need to eat. Good morning, and happy Aloha Friday from Blooming Health Farms. And thank you for being with me on this beautiful morning. We have had an eventful past couple of weeks. Something cool and funny I wanted to share with you. I had a kid this week lock a bicycle lock around his waist. Yeah, I know that sounds a little bit weird, but it wasn't one of them chain locks. It was like a U-lock, a hard welded metal lock that he ended up having to go to the fire department, and they ended up using the jaws of life to cut him free from his bike lock that he locked around his waist. And it was a day for me. But I showed up at our new site over at Site B, and there he was with this lock around his waist. And he told me, he's like, yeah, I also lost the key inside the chicken coop. So we had a really good laugh, and I took a few photos that I will share, but I was careful not to put his picture of his face in there in case we wanted to preserve some of that for later. But today's episode, I wanted to tell you more about hydroponic chicken farming, because it's really this hydroponic chicken farming that has shown us how we can better pave our way as a nonprofit, how we can better serve our community. And specifically, it's really these chickens that are showing me how to work with these justice involved individuals, even though they may lock a bike lock around their waist. So let's dive into an innovative method that we are doing that combines hydroponics and poultry farming for a more sustainable and efficient approach. But before we dive into today's show, I do have a small request for you. If you're enjoying our show so far, please be so kind as to leave a review. It really helps for others to hear your thoughts and your likes or whatever your wishes may be. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get the latest episodes. Hydroponic chicken farming offers a fresh perspective on raising chickens by integrating hydroponic principles into their diet and into the overall environment at large. Now, instead of us relying on exclusively a foraging and a commercial kibble, the chickens are provided with hydroponic sprouts as the major component of their diet, which ensures that they're getting a nutritious food source. Now, one of the key advantages of what we're doing with our hydroponic chicken farming is its efficiency. We're able to maximize a limited amount of space by employing vertical farming techniques so that we can achieve higher yields while minimizing the amount of resources we use, like water and electricity. Let's just jump into the hydroponic system itself a little bit. So, purified filtered water, or if we will, just tap water or clean well water, circulates through the roots of our sprouts, which allows the sprouts to germinate and unlock all of that goodness that's inside of them. And so when they do, they allow those plants to just flourish. We are able to use a minimal amount of water in a closed loop system so that we can ensure we're using our water as efficiently as possible. And in order for us to grow out our feed for about 100 chickens right now, some are layers and some are pullets, we use a little over a gallon of water each day. Another way that I could say that is each day we get a little less than a gallon of wastewater. And that wastewater is really a great ingredient for those out there that are going to do compost tea. We tend to use it for composting purposes, depending if we're going to make a tea or we just put it on our garden area. But the wastewater from the sprouts isn't always the most beneficial thing from the wastewater is very valuable, but the chicken's waste can also become valuable when you integrate any plant and animal system. We're able to utilize the chicken's waste as a nutrient-rich fertilizer or a compost for other areas of our operation. Specifically, we love to use it for our outdoor tomato breeding operation. And what we see is that we're essentially establishing this symbiotic relationship that is benefiting the chickens and all of the plants that we use here at Blooming Health Farms. Now, maintaining control over our temperature, humidity, and the environment at large for the hydroponic sprouting is pretty crucial. We have seen in the freezing temperatures and these blistering hot days that have come along so far that the extreme heat or humidities, specifically recently, will heat up the room or environment where you're growing if you don't have any kind of climate control, and it'll ruin your plants. So any plants that get too hot and humid don't grow very well. And in reality, what we see when it gets too hot and humid with our sprouting is that we are essentially going through a partial fermentation process with our sprouts. So serendipitously, some silver lining we have seen is that if our sprouting process goes slightly awry, it is actually beneficial in some aspects because we are semi-fermenting our barley, if that makes sense. Now, it is important to acknowledge that this idea of hydroponic sprouting for chickens is still a bit experimental. We are doing ongoing research, we are consistently experimenting, and refinement is necessary in order for us to optimize the system and ensure its long-term viability. But nevertheless, the potential of hydroponic chicken farming is truly remarkable in my belief. We're able to reduce all of the resources that we're using and provide a sustainable and efficient method for poultry production. I really believe that this method is going to pave the way for a more resilient and sustainable future of agriculture and poultry farming. Though that is all I have today for us on this Aloha Friday. Do join us next time as I continue to talk about the new advancement and practices of hydroponic farming that are shaping the world. And I do have some more farmer interviews for you. But if you want to know more about how hydroponic fodder is helping farmers save water, improve all of their livestock quality, and helping us all become better stewards, head on over to thinkingoutsidethesoil.com and get yourself a copy of my book. It's available in print and on audio. And as a special gift to you as my listener, do check out the links below, especially that free sprouting video. Please follow the show, get yourself the book, watch that video so you don't miss out on becoming part of this next agricultural revolution. Thank you for being with me on today's show, and join us again on another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil. Take care and have a lovely day. Hey, before you go, check out the links below, and if you'd be so kind as to leave a rating and review and follow the show. For those with feathered friends, don't forget to get yourself some of our Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix. This supplemental mix has been shown to give you some of the best eggs with the yummiest yolks. You'll have happy, healthy hens that abandon the feeder and give you eggs with high levels of vitamin A and omega fatty acids. So don't forget to get yourself some Blooming Health Farms Chicken Blend Sprouting Mix.